So for the last week, I have been watching, reading and listening to interviews with the brilliant Emma Grede, who is on a press tour for her book, Start With Yourself. And I found it really, really interesting. I have followed Emma Grede now probably for the last 2 years, and she's somebody that I really, really admire from a professional point of view. I'm not here to talk about her personal life. I don't know Emma Grede. I know there are conversations around the amount of time she spends with her children. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't have kids. And to be perfectly frank, it's not my business. I'm not qualified to talk about how much time people spend with their children, how they raise their children. And like I say, that's not something that is of interest to me. I'm interested in Emma from a professional point of view. So, as I said a few seconds ago, I have followed Emma for probably around 2 years. She is somebody that really appeals to me, really speaks to me. I love her passion for her ambition, her drive. I love the fact that she does not apologize for being ambitious and wanting to be successful. So I have been very interested in her interviews that she has been giving over the past week as part of her press tour for Start With Yourself. So this video is about me sharing my top 3 takeaways from the interviews and I've seen and the conversations that I have heard and that I have read. I am not going to be talking about the book itself because I have not read the book yet. I am still waiting for my copy. I think it's due in the post any day now. I may well do a review of the book once I've read it, but for the purpose of this video today, I'm just going to share my top 3 takeaways from what I have seen, read and heard so far in terms of the interviews that Emma has given. Now, my first takeaway from Emma's interviews, and I don't know if she did this intentionally, is that I think she has opened up space to have real and honest conversations about what it really takes to be successful. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, as some of you will know, I worked for Harrods for 7.5 years. I joined in September 2010 and I left in November 2017. And I worked in the area of social media. Now, when I first joined, I joined on a short-term contract. It was 3 months. And I very quickly gained or achieved a level of success there, and which the business was very happy with. So a position of social media manager was created and it was offered to me because the business also recognized it was something that they needed to invest in. Now, I'm going to be very, very honest with you. When I got offered that opportunity, I grabbed it with both hands and feet because I knew that firstly, opportunities like that don't come along every day. And B, if I could be successful in that role of social media manager during my time at Harrods, I knew that it would pay dividends in the long term, which it has done. But that's a conversation for another video and another day. Now, the thing to say is, getting the opportunity was amazing, but getting the opportunity was only the beginning of the journey. Once I got that opportunity, I got that job, that was when the hard work really, really started. Now, like Emma Grede, I am ambitious. I have been since I was 5 years old. I would say I'm more than ambitious. I'm hungry for success. I always have been. And it's something that has just grown over time. Like I said, I've been ambitious since I was 5 years old. I'm 48 now, and I'm no less ambitious now than I was back then. And for me, this Harrods role was an opportunity for me to really, really feed that ambition. And like I said, I knew that if I would made that a success, I knew I could take that somewhere else further down the line in terms of my career. But the thing was, that job came with a very, very high price tag. And what I mean by that was I had to be more disciplined than I'd ever been. I had to be more dedicated than I'd ever been. I'd had to work harder than I'd ever worked. There were sacrifices I had to make. I moved cities, and I'm not saying that's a big thing because people move countries, people move entire continents, but I moved away from family and friends. I missed a lot of important moments in the lives of people that I loved in order to kind of really immerse myself fully in that role and make it the success that it went on to be. Now, like I said, I don't know if Emma has been intentional in doing this, but I do think that she has opened up space for conversations around what it takes to be really, really successful. I think in today's society, especially with social media, there is a feeling amongst some, not amongst all, that you can just become successful overnight, or you can just manifest success and manifest money. Now, I'm not saying that manifestation is not important and doesn't play a role, but it would be very unrealistic and wrong for me to sit here and say that you can just manifest success. I have been working since I was 16 years of age. I'm 48 now. That's 32 years of hard work. And I am nowhere near at where I want to be. I've achieved many great things, which is fantastic, but there are still so many things that I want to achieve. And the thing I really want to get across in terms of my story, in terms of Harrods and my journey, is that it took a lot of work to make it successful. And it wasn't just me. I had an amazing team, obviously support from the wider business. But as the person who was leading it, it required a lot of me, a hell of a lot of me. I pretty much worked every single day for 7.5 years. And I don't regret it, because like I say, that role and that success I had in that role is still opening doors for me now. It's still paying dividends now. So I don't regret it. But I would be dishonest if I sat here and I said that it didn't require a lot of me, that it didn't require me to give everything I possibly could in order to be successful. And I think that's something that we really need to be honest about. And we really need to ask ourselves two important questions when it comes to career success, professional success, or any success of any level. You know, firstly, are we willing to do what it takes to be successful? And more importantly, are you the kind of person that has what it takes to be successful? And I'm talking stupid levels of success, because that is not for everyone. Like I say, I am somebody who is extremely ambitious, but even I have my days where I just want to stay in bed and eat popcorn or eat biscuits and watch Netflix. You know, I'm no different to anyone else. But the thing that separates me, I think, some people, not everyone, is that I am ferociously ambitious. And I think about it 24/7. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed at night. But not everybody is built that way. And depending on the level of success you want to achieve, it is not for everyone. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you are someone who, like me, wants to achieve a certain level of success, you really need to ask yourself if A, you are willing to do what it takes once you've figured out what it takes to get to where you want to be, and B, if you are the right kind of person, if you have what it takes to really be willing to make sacrifices, to discipline yourself, to say no to things when you really want to say yes in order to achieve the things you want to achieve. So that's the first takeaway from me. I think that Emma, whether knowingly or otherwise, has created space for us to have real conversations about what it takes to be really successful, the sacrifices you have to make, the prices you have to pay, because there is a price to pay for ambition, and you have to decide whether or not it's a price that you are willing to pay. So that's the first takeaway. The second takeaway for me is I love the fact that Emma Grede is unapologetic about her ambition. She is unapologetic about the fact that she's always wanted to be successful. She's always wanted to get to the dizzy heights of success. I absolutely love that, because I am somebody who has always felt that way. From the age of 5, I have been ferociously ambitious. And I think that in my younger years, I would say in my 20s, I kind of dumbed that down, because I would face criticism from men and from women. You know, I would get this thing of, oh, you know, you're a little bit too ambitious. You know, you need to be a bit, you need to be a bit nicer with it. You need to be a bit more kind of fluffy with it. And that's not my thing. Not when it comes to my ambition. I am not shy about the fact that I want to be incredibly successful. I want to go as far as I can in my career, and I'm willing to do what it takes. And I love the fact that Emma Grede is just completely unapologetic about the fact that she is ferociously ambitious. She's incredibly driven, and she wants to be successful. She doesn't try to hide it. She's very bold about it. And to be honest, she's reminded me of just how hungry I am when it comes to my own ambition and my own desire for success. So I absolutely love that. So that's my second takeaway. She is unapologetic about her ambition, and I just love that. And I think that is something that we should encourage in more girls and more women, because men don't get criticized for being ambitious. You know, men are out there doing all kinds of things. Nobody criticizes them. So I feel like I love the fact that Emma does not apologize for the level of ambition and the hunger that she has when it comes to being successful. I think that's an amazing thing, and long may it continue, not just for Emma, but for all women and for all girls. My third and final takeaway is I also love the fact that Emma is unapologetic when it comes to talking about money. Now, this is something that really, really strikes a chord with me, because I have spent the last few years talking about my financial journey. As some of you will know, 15, 16 years ago, I got myself into a bit of debt. I managed to pay it off, and I've managed to stay out of debt ever since, which, fingers crossed stays that way. But yeah, I have been on a journey in terms of my own finances. It's a story that I've shared. It's something that I've talked about. And I love the fact that Emma is being really bold about conversations about money, because I feel like as women, we don't have enough conversations about money. And I'm not just talking about bog standard stuff. I'm talking about understanding how money works within the system, understanding things like, even things like compound interest, even things like, the Bank of England base rate. I don't feel that we as women have enough conversations about money. Now, it is improving. I would say in the last 5 years, I have seen a lot more conversation and discourse around money when it comes to women. And there are women out there doing fantastic things like Fumi Olafonwa, Abigail Foster, both of whom I've interviewed for my STYLISA Founders platform, and also brilliant women like Bola Sol. There are some incredible women out there who are experts in finance, who are doing the work and creating space for more women to have conversations about money. But I definitely think there is more that can be done. And I love the fact that Emma is being very bold and unapologetic about conversations about money, and also wanting wealth. I am a woman who wants to be wealthy. And it's not because, I'm greedy or I just want to buy stuff. Money is a tool for me. Money enables freedom. Money enables choice. It enables options. Money is the difference between you staying in a shitty situation, like a shit job or a shit relationship. It's the difference between that and being able to remove yourself from that situation because you have the financial means to do so. So I absolutely love seeing a woman being completely bold and unapologetic and unafraid to talk about money. And that is something that I think, we need to encourage more of. There needs to be more conversations amongst women when it comes to money and understanding money, understanding how money moves within the system, how, the Bank of England base rate decision affects our everyday lives. I think we need to have much more of that amongst girls and amongst women. So yes, those are my top 3 takeaways. Firstly, I think that Emma has opened up space for conversations about what it takes to be really successful. And I'm not saying that space didn't exist before, but I don't know, it's almost like she's triggered something. She has for me. I don't know whether she has for anyone else. So that's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is she is unapologetic about her ambition, about wanting to be successful, which I love and I think should be wholeheartedly encouraged amongst more women and girls. And third takeaway is that she is also unapologetic when it comes to talking about money, which is something that all women and girls need to be talking about. So those are my takeaways. I would love to hear yours. Please do share them in the comments below. As always, please be respectful. Any comments that are inappropriate, rude, or abusive will be removed and you will be blocked. And finally, just to mention my platform, STYLISA Found Hers, which I mentioned earlier. STYLISA Found Hers is a platform that I'm building where I interview incredible women who are building businesses, who work in the world of finance, and soon to come, there will be founders boardroom, which will focus on the journey to be gaining places on boards and what that looks like when women actually sit on boards and they are part of those key decision makers and they are, they're occupying seats at those tables. That's going to launch in the next 2 to 3 months. So I'm really excited about that. If you'd like to read my interviews or find out more about STYLISA Found Hers, you can visit my website, www.stylisa.com, spelt STYLISA. Menu at the top of the homepage, STYLISA Found Hers is there. Click on the menu and that will take you to all of my brilliant interviews. Read them, let me know what you think, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye for now.